In studying a national literature, it's worth paying attention to the reasons why certain texts and authors come to our notice and others do not. Are some of the authors on our syllabus familiar to us as Irish authors, or have we just heard of them without having previously known that they were Irish? I'm getting at the idea of a canon or canonicity. The canon is the body of so-called great texts, supposedly determined by consensus. One example of a canon is great books. Another would be Anglophone literature. And indeed, there is a canon of Irish literature. There are always politics at work in canon formation. If you do a search for canonical English language texts, you'll probably find names included such as James Joyce and Samuel Beckett and Oscar Wilde. But you could say it's a colonial maneuver to absorb those Irish writers into a narrative of Anglophone achievement. Moreover, writers can be kicked out of a canon as well as taken in. To that end, I want to reflect on the fate of Thomas More, nowadays largely forgotten, but a very important participant in Ireland's sense of its own cultural history in his time. Unless you live in Ballarat, where there's a statue of him, you've probably not heard of Thomas More. In his time, More was huge. He was more successful than romantic contemporaries such as Lord Byron, Wordsworth, the Shelleys and Keats. But I don't teach Thomas More on my Romanticism syllabus, because the published Romanticism anthologies don't include any of his poetry. More has been booted out of the Romantic canon. What about his place in the Irish canon? Influential writers like William Butler Yeats hated Thomas More. It's worth asking ourselves why. Certainly he seems to engage with the right kind of material. Brian the Brave is Brian Boru, High King of Ireland who repelled Viking invaders. Brian Boru is a central historical figure. He even has his own board game. Meanwhile, More's Song of Fionnuala is drawn from the story of the children of Lear. Fionnuala is among the children transformed into a swan and banished by their wicked stepmother. She is Far from the Land is commonly interpreted as referring to Sarah Curran, the lover of Thomas More's university friend Robert Emmet, who was executed following his leadership of an attempted rising against the British in the year 1803. Those look like the right kind of Irish themes to me. But are there aspects of More's treatment of them that repelled later readers? That's something I would like you to speculate on.